Wade here with the final bell and whistle. My name's Canelo. Lovely to speak to you again. Wade, the undisputed champ, defending against Bud Crawford. How do you assess their styles matching up against each other on fight night?
How do I see their fight styles? Man, Crawford, a great counterpuncher, does that out of both stances. I think he's going to primarily stay southpaw because Canelo's had some issues in the past with southpaws. I think he's going to have to be able to stop Canelo from walking him down. I don't see him doing the William Skull thing and trying to just hang around the ropes and fight that way. I think he's going to have to step to Canelo a little bit. Doesn't mean he's got to be on the front foot the whole night pushing him back, but you got to get Canelo to engage to at least find those counter punches, right? He has a great lead hook out of southpaw, and he throws it right after the straight, too, so he's bang, bang. Could be effective because Canelo does like to keep his lead hand a little lower for that swiping lead hook. And Canelo behind that high guard, I think there's some holes that you can get to the body. But saying all that, I think Canelo's going to win the fight. I just think his experience in big fights is too much. His power, not necessarily because he's at 168, but Canelo's just a power puncher and regardless. And Terence Crawford, as much as people want to say he's going to fill into the weight, maybe, but he's a 147, really a 140-pounder in his prime. So him moving up that much, I think, is going to cause a bit of an issue, especially on his gas tank. How do you carry that weight around? Not saying that Terence is going to get tired or anything, but it's just going to be a lot, you know? He has to make more adjustments than Canelo, which is why I'm going Canelo.
Oh, perfect. Obviously, as you just mentioned, Crawford's moving up 2 weight classes to 168 pounds.
That's the thing. He had one fight at 154. That's it. So he's really moving up 3 weight classes from what he's normally at. And his 154 fight, it didn't look great. So.
No, definitely. I mean, I did see that. I kind of thought similar to yourself. I wanted to ask you, how do you think the jump in the 3 weight classes, like you mentioned, will affect Bud on the night? How do you think that will change his game plan? Does he have to plan for that differently?
I think you have to. I think you have to be a little bit more controlled in your punch count, right? Not that Crawford's throwing a ton of punches per round anyway, but you just have to conserve a little more energy. You got to understand the fact you're going to get hit with big power punches as well. Like Canelo, I hope he uses his jab more in this fight, but behind that jab is going to come nasty hooks, just winging shots, right? So that's going to be a problem that you have to deal with, and just the fact that how do you carry 168 pounds in a fight, right? You're used to being a little lighter, you're used to being able to move a little quicker and have a bigger gas tank. How do you adapt to that while moving up, right? That's one of the hardest things to do is if you're not cutting a ton of weight, which Terence Crawford wasn't at 147 and 154, how are you moving up to be solid at 168 but still keep your gas tank?
Would you say it's similar with the Chris Eubank and Conor Benn fight where no matter what Conor does, at the end of the day, when Chris leaned on him, when it went to them later rounds, he used his weight, he used his experience. Do you see a similar outcome happening in this fight?
It's a different fight, right? Conor Benn is a power puncher's power puncher. Like, he was looking to take Chris Eubank Jr.'s head off. I don't see Terence doing that. I see him working himself into the fight, being able to I think he needs to start early because Canelo likes to be a little bit of a late starter. But I think as the fight goes on, he's going to find more opportunities. But I think the biggest difference, you can say the fact that Eubank Jr. was a bit bigger and was able to put that weight on him definitely made a difference. But I think it's more so just Terence fighting his own battle, moving up in weight. And he's in there with a cerebral fighter. We keep talking about the power with Canelo, but it's more also, to me, cerebral mindset, his technique, to be able to counterpunch a counterpuncher. How Canelo adjusts to somebody like that, I think, is more important than just the weight.
No, perfect. And then you mentioned in your video, Canelo bringing in Jaron Ennis, as you mentioned, known for his high intensity, his switch hitting. What does that tell you about Canelo's prep for this upcoming fight?
It's not, no one can replicate Terence Crawford 1 for 1, but it does give you a look at somebody that can fight out of both stances, that can counterpunch, that does have a nice lead hook out of southpaw, and someone that's a high-level fighter, right? Not just, a world champ, but one of the guys that's probably going to be undisputed at 154, if you ask me. I mean, we'll see. Virgil Ortiz, we could go a whole day on that, but I think it also just shows Canelo is taking this as seriously as you want him to, right? This isn't a prep for William Skull where he's showing up in Saudi Arabia and just let's get through it, right? This is him going back to Canelo. Shoot, I haven't seen the intensity that I'm seeing out of Canelo since Caleb Plant, right? And that's the last fight where he had real success dragging that fight and then ultimately putting Caleb down. So I think that's the seriousness we're looking at.
Would you say that it's kind of showing, like you just mentioned, how he's fought previously is not going to work in this fight against Bud?
Yeah, no, you got to switch it up. Bud is not William Skull. He's not Caleb Plant. He's not any of these guys. He's got all the tools. So you better bring the entirety of what you got.
Shifting to the heavyweight division, where do you see Itauma currently standing in the heavyweight hierarchy, and what does he need to do for a title shot?
I think he's in the top 10. You got to put him somewhere in there. Title shot, you got to give him a couple more fights. I think Filip Hrgović. I think, I don't know, if you move him, if they want to move him super fast, so maybe Hrgović, maybe give him Joshua, man. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? Give him Joshua. I'd say keep him away from guys like Caballel and Daniel Dubois, though, because they're still dangerous, even if Dubois off a loss. But you got to give him 2 or 3 more fights. Year and a half to 2 years, he'll be there.
I wanted to say, you're obviously with The Ring magazine, but Turkey has mentioned about Itauma and Usyk.
He wants to do it right now, dude.
I wanted to know your thoughts.
No, you can't. Not right now, man. Usyk still got some stuff with him, and obviously you don't want to have Usyk be past his sell date a little bit, but Itauma's not ready for that yet. Not yet. Just give him a couple of years. I know that Turkey is very excited about it. We'll see. I mean, he ultimately is going to have more of a say than I will, but I say give him a couple of years.
And Wade, lastly from me, if you could create your one dream fight right now, who would it be and why?
I mean, it's everybody's dream fight, I think, in boxing right now. It's Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, right? It's the fight that I think that should have been happened maybe 8 years ago at this point. But if we don't get it, it feels like it's been robbed from us. That's one I would want. I would say Canelo and David Benavidez as well, and maybe even Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. But for all 3 of those, it's just because we want to see the best fight the best, or we want to see fights that we should have seen years ago.
Perfect. Wade, this is the final bell and whistle. Thank you very much.